Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of my RCT3 Megapark. Now, I know it's been a while, but don't worry, I haven't forgotten about this series. Sometimes I just like to take a little break in making videos. I've actually been playing a ton of Minecraft. We have our own realm, and it's been super fun. But yeah, I think it's time to get back to this series. I shouldn't keep you guys waiting for too long. Some people thought I had already forgotten about this. But yeah, trust me, I'm going to finish this park for sure. And in today's episode, I want to work on this little area here, right at the beach. I've already talked a little bit about it in the last episode, I believe, what I want to do here. But basically what I want here is kind of like a little boardwalk section. So I'm going to make this area a little bit more sandy, make the beach a little bit bigger probably. And I'm going to add some raised paths here that are gonna make the paths look like a wooden path. And what I also want to build in this episode is a nice Go Kart track. I want to have the Go Kart track go around this area here, and I think it will also be pretty cool to also let it go into a tunnel here for a section of the track. So yeah, that's my plan for today. I think it will also be quite fun to follow one of these go-karts around here on the track with the guest camera thing. Alright, yeah, what I'm going to do now first is try to think a bit of a path layout here, and then I think I will just continue building and see how everything goes. Maybe I'll add a shop or two as well. So yeah, time to get started. Alright, before I build this path any further, I think it will be nice to already start thinking of where we want our go-karts to be. I did have some trouble placing the paths here. Sometimes when I create a straight piece of path here, it wanted to place it on the land, or the game would raise the land a little bit. The game thinks it's smarter than me. I don't like when it does that. But yeah, I will just start placing the station of the go-kart somewhere around here. And I'll see if we can build a nice layout. Now, the nice thing about go-karts in this game, I believe you can do wider turns than you could in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. So that's a really welcome addition to the game. Let's see what we can do. Ah, lovely. I love these wider turns. In Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, you're limited to these sections. Unless, of course, you do the hacky thing and make the track invisible. But it's nice to have these in the game by default, these wider turns. Okay, like I said, I want to have sort of a layout which travels through a tunnel here. Now, I already put the suspended monorail layout here a bit, just so I don't have to worry about adding that later. I think it's best to already have this in place for a little bit, just to see how much it will be in the way of everything. Okay, I think somewhere over here I'll build the station. I have to see what's the best spot for it. And I'll see if I can come up with a nice layout. And of course I'm gonna try and decorate it in a very nice way as well. Alright, me and the landscape editor still are not very good friends, but we are getting acquainted. So yeah, I think these will be suitable walls to have a tunnel for the go-kart. Now, there are also some tunnel entrances we can use. I believe they're somewhere over here. Alright, these are actually the park entrances. Let me quickly find them. They're over here. Alright, I think we'll be able to do something nice with these entrances and see if we can make a nice entrance and exit for these tunnels that we're going to create. So first off, I will just quickly create a track. Let's quickly go over here with some straight track. I actually also love that you can now make S-bends with go-karts. That's something I also really miss in Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. Although I did see some models of S-bends for go-karts that people are actually trying to create. So yeah, that will be something to look forward to in the future of Open Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. Alright, I think this is the first time I'm actually building underground in Rollercoaster Tycoon 3. So far, so good. Yeah, it actually kind of just works like it did in Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. So, can just continue building here. Here we'll make a bend, and it should just come out here normally, like that. Alright, I'm really happy with that. Alright, and here we travel under the monorail. Okay, now we have these ugly exposed walls here. Ooh, especially this part is a bit iffy. Well, it will be a little bit tricky to make this look good. Maybe we can do the smoothing thing, 'cause that usually works pretty well. There we go. Cannot really save this here. Oh well, I could probably just hide this with some foliage. No worries at all. Okay, now I'm just going to try and make this look a little bit nicer with these cave entrances. Let's look for a nice one. Here we have a metal entrance. This looks pretty cool. Yeah, I actually really like that. Boy, there's many more here that we can choose from. Let's try a rock entrance, why not? Oh, this is also pretty cool. And we can also still paint the edges of the land here. So, no, there's not that many to choose from, but let's go for a rocky wall here. I kind of like this. Let's do the same here. And I'm not sure, but I'll just paint all the land under here. And that might also affect the walls that we have inside the tunnel. I'm not really sure, but I think that would make sense. Okay, I'm also going to give this one a nice entrance, and then I will continue building the go-kart track. Now, in any game which you play, be it Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, Rollercoaster Tycoon 2, Minecraft, any other building game, land texturing is very important. If you make a park or make any creation with only one kind of land, for example just grass, it will just look bland and uninteresting. So yeah, land texturing will generally make it look much nicer. For example, I've just used some rocks here on the walls. I think that really helps make this mountainside stand out a little bit more. Also added some of these rocks next to this tunnel entrance. I'll probably put a few more, and yeah, that will just make it look much more complete. Anyway, I will do that later. I just first want to finish the layout of this go-kart track. Okay, as you can see, I made the go-kart track a little bit higher here. That's because I wanted to have some interaction with the path. So this path here over here in this section, I wanted to pass over the go-kart track, and here I wanted to go under the go-kart track. And here in the middle I can add a shop, or we could even add another ride. I'll have to see what I'm going to add here. But I think that will make the go-kart track much more interesting, and also yeah, some interaction between guests and the rides is always a nice thing to have. Okay, what I'm going to do first is make a nice station for the ride. Well, yeah, I just make a little building around it, probably a wooden building. Yeah, there's not too many themes you can choose from in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, so I'll probably go with something like a bit of a beach theme, Cabana, since we're doing something here right on the beach. I'll see what kind of stuff I have available to build with. Okay, what I like here is that you can actually fill the track with carts, something which was not possible in RCT2, because there you would be limited to the amount of carts that would fit on one half of the track, because yeah, on which part of the track they would be was always random. So if you had more carts on one side of the track, then they could actually get stuck behind the station, and then they would be stuck there forever. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this will handle. Actually, I will do a bit fewer carts, because this would probably be a little bit too much for this track. So let's say let's do 16 carts. Now I made the queue line quite short, because in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 these queues would always be too long, because the ride duration is pretty long. And yeah, thus the throughput of these rides is not very good. But I'll just go with 16 for now, and we'll see how it handles. Alright, now going to open the ride. The guests should start coming in pretty soon. And for now I will just continue decorating the ride. These guests have some curious motions while they're sitting in the car when it's not even moving. Maybe they're just trying to warm up the steering wheel. I'm not really sure. It's pretty weird to see them go around like this. Alright, now when you build a ride, of course it has a certain layout, and it will often sit much nicer in the landscape if you give it a reason for the layout. So what do I mean with this? For example, there's this curve here. It's much nicer if there's a reason for it to curve like this. For example, I could put a tree here in the middle, or a boulder, and yeah, when you do it, it just looks, when you do something like that, it just looks much more natural. So I'm going to try and add some stuff here in the middle of these curves. And I think that will make the layout look much nicer. Okay, I think it's already starting to look a little bit nicer. So we have the Go Kart track now going around between all these plants and trees. Goes around this big rock here with this curve. I really like the way this rock sits here. I think that's pretty satisfactory. Of course, we are using these plants in a lot of the park, so I hope it doesn't look too monotonous. I think it's alright. Okay, I've also added a bit of sand path here. I don't want to use this boardwalk texture for the entire area here. Yeah, it gets repetitive quite easily, as you may be able to see. So that's something that I want to prevent. Maybe over here I also take the path down a little bit and also just use the sand path here. And just have like the wooden path here for the guests to cross over the go-kart track. I kind of like having the guests just walk on the sand here. I think that's much nicer. Now, one last thing I want to do in this episode is add some shops and stalls here for the guests to get some food and drinks. Maybe also a toilet. And that also might entice some more people to actually come over to this area. Because not many people are actually walking over here towards the go-karts. So in this game, guests are really slow. It's a complaint I heard a few times from people. But yeah, if we have some shops here, maybe some more people will actually come over to visit this area. That was some interesting movements from this guy. Okay, we have two new shops here now in this little building. I like using these custom stalls, as you can really nicely just fit them inside a building, and they will just sell whatever you select. So this one's called Coca-Cola, and it sells coconut drinks. And this one is called, I don't remember what it's called, Cabana kebab, and you can guess what it sells. Okay, yeah, I'm actually quite happy with what I built today. So here's this nice little go-kart track with the tunnel. It sits here on the beach. There's some path going under it, just with sand, and there's a little bridge over it with these wooden planks, this boardwalk path. I guess they're running here towards probably running towards the toilet. And some more of this boardwalk here. I kind of like the mix with this sand path and these wooden paths here. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. Of course, I could still keep decorating, maybe add some plants here, but I think I'm quite happy for today. Just going to quickly fix this. These supports here, I don't want these to be visible. Alright, we've had some new patrons, so I think it will be nice to add another patron to the park. So let's go to park management and let's select a new entertainer. Alright, this entertainer will be named Fidwell. Fidwell has been a member on my Discord for quite a while now, and he mostly joins our Timeline Park contest. So far he has submitted an entry in every stage so far, still keeping up to date, still going strong, and I really enjoy his creations on in the Timeline Park contest. So I'm really happy he decided to become a patron. And I hope Fidwell enjoys being an entertainer in my park. Okay, what's left to do for this episode is to take a ride on the Go Kart. Now, I do hope it fills up. I do believe it's time to go for it pretty soon. Looks like the tactic of putting some shops here to get more guests to the area actually worked. It's nice when the guests actually do what you want them to do in this game. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to take a ride on the go-kart, and that will be the end of this episode. So I hope you enjoyed watching me build, and I'll see you again in the next episode. See you later.